Hello all, welcome to part 2 of Project 3 in Frame Academy. This part is called Keep It in the Family, and I think I'm going to be able to keep this video pretty short. There's not too much in this part, but it's still some important stuff that I wanted to make sure that we got to. So in the spirit of family terminology, relatives, all this stuff, there's a concept called inheritance. But instead of an inheritance that you might earn from a deceased relative, this has to do with the what a child entity might inherit from its parent entity. Okay, and a very simple example I have to show you here is in this project. It's the first project I have here on this page, and you can see I've got my same setup as before, right? I've got a parent box with two children boxes nested inside of it. And if you look, I've set a visible component on the box. This is one of the components that just comes with A-Frame, so you don't need to import it with a special script. It just is ready to use out of the box. You can say visible equals. There's only one of two values you can give it, either true or false. I set it to false, and look how that affected our scene, right? Not only did the parent become invisible, but so did the children boxes as well, right? So they kind of inherited this from their parent. Now the scene is just a blue background. So it'd be an extremely boring immersive website, right? Wherever you look, it's just blue. Okay, so that's inheritance sort of in action there. Now to show you a slightly more exciting example, I wanted to show you what happened if you put an animation on the parent entity. So we talked a bit about how to do this in Project 2. If you want a refresher, just go back to Project 2. But what I've done is I've thrown two different animations onto the parent entity. Of course, if you're going to do this in your own project, make sure you import the animation component with this script up here in your head. But yeah, so I've added two animations, one that affects the position, one that affects the rotation. And check out what's happening in the scene, right? Not only is the parent box spinning and moving, but the two children, I've made them spheres now, they're also moving and rotating with it. So that's because really remember, they get their position relative to the parent. So to use some of the terminology from part 1, their global position is changing, right? Their true absolute position is indeed changing relative to the scene, but their local position is actually just staying the same, right? Their position relative to the parent is staying the same. Okay, and I hope that made sense. But as you can see, right, just dropping one animation or two dropping animations on the parent will indeed also affect the children. Okay, for the challenge, just keep it simple. Just in some of the parent-child relationships that you set up from the challenge from part 1, go ahead and add some animations to the parent and see how that affects the children. You could animate scale or position or rotation or color or anything else you might be experimenting with. Okay, I will see you in the third and final part.